The Odyssey, retold by Gillian Cross, illustrated by Neil Packer. The dedication says, "For Martin, with lots of love, Gillian." And for Emily Carroll Bickerton, 1965 to 2008. Love, Neil and Arvo. The contents are The War, Traveling into Disaster, The Giant in the Cave, Aeolus and Circe, Ghosts and Monsters, Stranded on Calypso's Island, Nausicaa, Odysseus the Beggar, and A Husband for Penelope. Look at all these great illustrations. Looks like the ocean, huge waves, see a whale, some sort of a dragon or demon, some sort of a swimming sea serpent thing, some terrible creature with big teeth. And down here in the corner, we see a man, or he looks like a man, but he's actually a god with a trident in his hand, and he's pointing to the water, giving directions to the ocean. Out of the mysterious past comes this tale of human endurance, full of unknown dangers and terrifying monsters. It tells the adventures of a man who spent 10 years fighting the anger of the raging sea as he struggled to sail home. This is a story of Odysseus of Ithaca, cleverest of all the kings of ancient Greece. And there's Odysseus now. Odysseus was the king of Ithaca. The war. It was the war that forced Odysseus to leave his home. When Paris of Troy ran off with the king of Sparta's wife, her husband gathered an army to fetch her back. And he called on all his fellow kings to join him, including Odysseus. There was no escape. Odysseus wanted to stay on Ithaca with his own wife, Penelope, and their baby son, Telemachus. But the other kings needed his quick wits and his cunning. When he didn't come, they went to Ithaca to find him. "Sparta is your ally," they said. "You swore to fight side by side with the Spartans, and that means helping to fetch Helen back from Troy." It was true. All the Greek kings had promised to help one another. With a heavy heart, Odysseus called his soldiers together and prepared a fleet of ships. And here we have Odysseus with his helmet and his arm ready to go to war. There's his wife Penelope and their baby son Telemachus. Looks like their little palace, some animals and plants. I really like these illustrations. I don't know, there's not much depth to them, but there's a lot in there if you get to looking. The night before they left, he talked to Penelope, his wife. "This will be a fierce and bitter war," he said. "If I die, you are in charge of Ithaca, but only while Telemachus grows up. When he's a man, he'll take over, and you must get out of his way. Choose another husband for yourself and go live with him." "I don't want any husband except you," Penelope said with tears in her eyes. "That's how it must be," Odysseus insisted. "Promise to do what I ask." Still with tears in her eyes, Penelope promised. "But you will come back," she said fiercely. "I know you will." "That depends on the gods," Odysseus said. He kissed her goodbye and hugged Telemachus. Then he went down to the long ships in the harbor and he and his men set sail over the wine dark sea. For 9 long, blood-stained years, the Greek army besieged the golden city of Troy, battering at its walls in vain, while the gods watched from their home on high Olympus. For 9 lonely years, Penelope stayed in Ithaca, taking care of the kingdom and waiting for the war to finish. As Telemachus grew tall and strong, she told him about his father, Odysseus, the cleverest king in Greece. When the war ends, she said, he'll come back to us. And here's a little part of a picture. On the right side, you see the walls of Troy, and you see all the soldiers. Back home in Ithaca, Penelope was raising Telemachus. In the 10th year of fighting, the Greeks tricked their way into Troy. The war ended in a storm of blood and fire, and the golden city of Troy was burned to ruins. One by one, the kings of Greece trailed home across the sea, except Odysseus. Where was he? I'm going to pause and explain this picture. This is a picture of the wooden horse. It's called a Trojan horse. The Greek kings could not break down those city walls in Troy. So they decided, well, it was Odysseus, actually, he decided, let's build this wooden horse and we'll all hide inside of it, and then we'll tell Troy, hey, we've built you this wooden horse as a gift. We're sorry we tried to kill you for 10 years. Please accept this wooden horse as a gift, as a token of our, apologizing. And some of the soldiers hid inside of that wooden horse. And Troy, the gatekeepers of Troy, said, oh, thank you. And they opened up their gates and they rolled that wooden horse in. It's called the Trojan horse. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it. And then once they were inside of the gates of Troy, they came out of the horse and they started murdering and killing. And that's how the Greeks won the Trojan War. That's how the Greeks beat Troy. So Odysseus and his colleagues fought and won a 10-year-long war with Troy. One by one, the kings of Greece trailed home across the sea, except Odysseus. Where was he? No one knew except the gods gazing down from high Olympus, Zeus, the father of gods and men, Athena, the goddess of wisdom, Hermes, the giant killer and messenger of the gods, and Poseidon, the dark earth shaker god who controlled the ocean. Only they saw the whole long story as it unfolded. I'm not sure why my pages are flipped, but I have 12 coming after 13. Here is the Zeus and Poseidon. And here's Athena. She's the daughter of Zeus. And it looks like Hermes might be a son of Poseidon. I'm not sure, but there's a little chart of all of the gods. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. And that ends the war.